Niklas Hemlin, hello. How are you
Hi,
doing, mate?
everybody.
We have not spoken since your trip to China. You were there a little early, and then we had a little preview conversation there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, and then the competition came, and then we have more than a month, like almost 6 weeks, ever since. And we have to catch up. So
Yeah.
let's catch up with, um, let's say, how about the aftermath of the Indoor World Cup? Um, that alone was interesting enough. I can't believe we haven't talked yet, but what did you take
Yeah.
away from Arizona Airspeed in China indoors?
Macau is far to travel. It's very far for us. Yeah,
I'm glad I
yeah,
didn't
no,
have to go.
no, but it was a very positive trip for Arizona Airspeed. I mean, we traveled over there early to to train, and that training was very beneficial for us. Not to mention, just get used to the time change. I think it was 15 hours, you know, or
Mhm.
9 hours the other way. And while we were there training, we found out that Tom from the French team is not going to be there, and they're going to compete with Pamela. And I felt like the competition itself was very good for us. You know, Airspeed. When we saw the French team, their performance at the Wing Games, as we talked about, we were very impressed, and it lit a little bit of a fire in within the team that we kind of needed to stay focused and hungry in our training. And there's nothing like having a worthy opponent to motivate you. So I think the competition itself was very good for us. We wanted to set like a new record, but I think the average in Belgium was faster. But as far as us performing as a team, the technical execution, and some other goals that we have within the team, I think we nailed all of those, which is that continual growth for us, where we want to be technically very advanced, focus on our technique more so than focusing on trying to go too fast. So gaining the speed through the smallness and the lightness of our skydiving, and I feel like Norway was the first of that, and then we have continued to perform, uh, you know, uh, in the same manner, including in China. So I think that was very positive for us. You know, I feel like also Airspeed does skydive in a way in the wind tunnel. And if you are a true wind tunnel team, there's a lot of things that Airspeed would have done differently. And we would have, had a higher average. But we're trying not to bring the skydiving style too far away and get affected by the wind tunnel style. You know what I'm saying? So we're trying to kind of skydive more in the tunnel than being uniquely a tunnel team or attitude or so on. So we use the tunnel as a complementary tool, like Hayabusa has been talking about. And I think it's worked for us right now. So
It was your last opportunity, though, to set the historic average at least, because you're not gonna make another indoor competition with Arizona Airspeed, right?
no, I'm not. But I feel like the long-term goal is to win another world championship outdoor. So, and we were hoping that Tom was going to be there. He wasn't. The French team performed very nice without him. Pamela did a fantastic job. But we went there to get competition against the French, and run us through our competition protocol and everything. And I think we did a fantastic job. So.
Yeah. And the outdoor competition, I guess the next goal, you still have the outdoor world championship, and it seems like Airspeed is in better shape than ever. So I'm sure that from the angle of your eyes, you are looking at the highest outdoor average. And
Yeah, I mean,
I I remember it was at the USBA Nationals when it was set, right? The standing one. when Hayabusa was visiting.
Yeah, I mean I did a 27.9 back in 2012, and that stood until Hayabusa came to the Paraclete Nationals in 2019, where they set a 28.9, I think it was. And but then I think this team at the non-nationals, nationals, or the COVID nationals, we did a 29 plus average, which wasn't a real. I mean,
Two
it
super
wasn't a real
sequence.
category. Yeah, and so it's up there. But I feel like a 30 plus average would be
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
But I
first time
mean,
30 plus.
it, and this is the thing as an athlete. Let's control the things you can't control, and that's how you skydive. We cannot control the draw, you know. And so, if whatever the draw is, if we perform the best we can in the draw at hand, which is the only thing we can control, then it's going to be a fantastic average. Even at the Shamrock, had a little bit of a super sequence, 50 plus, and we did a 28 plus average, which is very respectable for any 10-round draw,
Yeah, and then the super sequence does not guarantee highest average anyway. It was interesting. I don't know if you remember that or if you read that. I was evaluating the highest averages, outdoor averages, and there was not one of the top 10 averages had a super sequence in it, I believe. No, it was indoor, I believe. But it was actually quite amazing to see that a super sequence definitely not automatically brings a high meet average. So it's a
But that's the other thing, right? If you look at the draw compared to high averages, I feel like 2012 in Dubai for both Hayabusa and Airspeed are very respectable, because there was nothing there over a 40 on a jump.
Mhm.
And we squeezed a 27.8 and a 27.9. And if you look in all the other ones that had mirroring that, which was in 2018 in Australia, there was a world record and two scores 60 or above,
Mhm. Yeah.
And and if you look at ours from 2020 or 21, whatever that was, we had one over 50 and one over 40. So we
Mhm.
almost had two skydivers in the 50s. So if you look at that, the one from 2012 are from the averages are from two very, very good teams from a somewhat of an average draw of sorts.
Well, what do you think of? I'm going to throw this in quickly, unexpectedly, but there is a proposal to to exhaust actually the whole dive pool at a competition. So you're not stopping after 10 rounds, you're doing 11 rounds, and ideally an 11 round meet, which is exhausting the complete dive pool at every meet, no matter what. Um, have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, I don't concern myself with it. It's always people that have more time to think than to train put all these thoughts into action. If you're
That's
busy
funny.
training, man, you you don't think about these things.
You just have to apply, execute the rules that the thinkers are
Dude,
putting on the
there's
table.
always some of it a good idea, and these good ideas usually come from people that are not busy training or trying to be an athlete or trying to coach to make money.
It is so funny. But I have to admit that I know who it came from, who is actually an active competitor. And in this case, I have to say that's a pretty reasonable idea, because then you can much better compare the competition draws of the whole life. But anyway, we don't want to discuss this. We have other more important things to
No,
cover.
but it's a legitimate idea. But I mean, I personally don't concern myself with how to change the rules or how to do that. I know the rules and I train within the boundaries of the rules. And when we compete, we get judged within the rules, and it is what it is. Whether you have me do a 6-round meet or an 11-round meet or a 12-round meet because we have a jump off, it doesn't matter to me. In the end of the day, if someone wants a 6-round meet because it's quick and easy and weather and all that, or if you want a full 11-round meet, it doesn't matter to me. I would imagine that uh, you know the way things stand is that you can draw 11 rounds, and one is a tiebreaker, you know, if we are in a tie. And then if you want to make round 12 a tiebreaker, you have to recycle it or add more randoms. And now we'll go back to what we used to have, 24 blocks and whatnot. So there's always people that have to decide to change things, and maybe for whatever. And I'm okay with that. No problem. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it, you know.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't really have a for or against opinion on it. So
Yeah, I was just curious, interested because it's, you know, it's out there.
I mean, some people too say that, hey, we should have a button in the draw that says that we should include all the randoms, or we should have a button that always include a super sequence, or, you know,
Yeah,
none of those are a true draw. They're
right.
manipulated draws. I just feel put everything in a hat and draw it, and
Yeah,
it is what it is.
like at the Shamrock,
And
I mean, you draw it yourself.
yeah, and that seems to be the thing even in Norway, or the thing even in China, and that's how we do it, because we trust that more than anything else. And it seems to be working, and I think people like it to be a part of that process, you
Mhm.
know, that the competitors get to sit there and be a part of it. And that's exciting for me. We did it in Australia. I was sitting there with Dennis next to me, and as the draw was happening, and it's very exciting. And where you know, so that part I would like to keep, and I wouldn't want any kind of manipulative, other than if you tell me to do more jumps, I'm not gonna complain. I love skydiving, you know.
Interesting.
So
All right, let's move on.
yeah.
Then Airspeed came back from China. The indoor season was over, and you were back in free fall with the team too.
Yeah, we trained for 2 weeks. I think we only took, we didn't take that much time off. Our year is very busy this year, and we're training a lot. So we actually came home, did 2 weeks of training in May, and we actually spent in the front piece all those jumps in B slot. So I was in point all of May. Joe was as a center all of May. Christopher and Mikhail were in A slot. So that's one of the opportunities that we have to distance ourselves, advance ourselves, is the B slot. It's the something that we can afford to train, because in A slot we're so proficient, and it's something that we felt was important, and is also invigorates the training, makes it something different, something more fun. So we did 90 jumps in B slot in the front piece, and it was I love it in the sense that there's things Joey does better than me, and the things I do better than him in our B slot. And then we get to cross learn and talk, and we get to do all the exits in B slot, which is like slot appreciation, and it's very good for us as far as growth. And like I said, kind of just do something different in our training. It was very it's a very positive experience.
And you left the rear piece in the slots to give it the reference, and then the rear piece will be the switching slots next time, and you remain in your A slot. So it's
No, there's mathematically it doesn't make any sense to put the back piece in any more slot switchers. The front piece, the way we do it, which can add block 4 and block 19 as a slot switcher, we can have up to 8 slot switchers depending on the draw,
uh,
which puts us in 40% B slot and 60% A slot. The back piece at most, even if you do 6 pages, it's going to have only 2 blocks. So they're going to have at most 6 pages in B slot. And if you look at a 30 average, I mean, that's not even 10%, you know. So
mhm.
yeah,
Okay. Well, thanks for the insight into
yeah.
the S-speed science, the S-speed
I mean,
forward
it's one of
science.
those things when you jump, it's all those skydives are far and few between, you know, even for a team that does 700 jumps, 750 jumps. Um, and if you need to really work on something, the tunnel is just so efficient, even if you put rigs on, you know.
Yeah.
So
So there was a training in May, and then came the next big event, which was a big event in all kind of meanings. It was the 30-year anniversary of Arizona Airspeed as a project, as an institution. Um, and the celebration of it, and that was last weekend, right?
Yeah, so it was the 30-year anniversary celebration. The true 30-year anniversary for Airspeed was in December 2023, because they were created in December 1993. But we always celebrate the 20, the 25, and the 30, whatever anniversary during the Arizona Challenge. It's a big event where a lot of people come out, and we had a lot of alumni come out. We had a nice banquet, and also we had like a 100-way or 108-way formation that we were flying Sunday, Monday, and yeah, it was a great time. Jack Jeffries joined us in the jumping, Kirk and Gina, Michelle, all the Airspeed alumni from the past. A lot of people came by. Some of them are not current jumping anymore, so they got to fly in the wind tunnel. And of course, the banquet, it was a nice presentation, emceed by Sonic from the Pro Shop.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, and a lot of sponsors came out, like Sven and Carl from Vigil, John DeBlanc from PD. We had a lot of sponsors that came out partaking. Nick Rillet from Cookie Composites. So it was quite the celebration. It was very, very special. Yeah.
Some of them jumping too. Did Nick jump?
No, no, no. Most of them, they just wanted to be there, just connecting with people, shaking hands, telling stories. Remembering good old times was enough for a lot of people. So Mark
Oh,
Kirkby and Craig Gerard joined the four-way team organizing the jumping part. So it was nice having Mark and Craig, Gerard there. So it was very special.
yeah, now staying with those names. I
Yeah.
was just making this new medal count, historic medal count of all. That's pretty interesting because three SB members, are in the top positions there. If you combine, Mark is still the leader in medal count in four-way only. But then Mark and Craig and Kirk, right, are in the top three for combined four-way and eight-way. Let's look at this. There was an interesting statistic actually to look at. Um, I don't know how I ran into this, but I did eventually. And here it is. I guess you can see it now, probably, hopefully. This is a combined medal count, Craig, Kirk, and Mark. With Craig is the sole leader with 8 gold medals, and Kirk and Mark tied in second, and tied with Scott Rhodes, who's not an Airspeed alumnus. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we had this short interruption, and Nick, you had to change your position there a little bit.
Yeah, I was sitting outside in the backyard, and my phone overheated because it's that time of year when it's like 40 plus degrees every day, and some days closer to 50,
Yeah.
So it's very, very hot.
Well, we have only 10 minutes left anyway, so let's try to resume quickly where we Mrs. Zoom just informed me that we have only 10 minutes left.
Yeah,
And we were actually at the medal count, the alumni, the Airspeed alumni who are actually on the top of the list of gold medal winners in history. I got to this the other day. You should be able to see that now.
yeah,
And we see, three Airspeed alumni. They are in the top positions.
yeah,
Of four-way and eight-way combined
yeah,
between 85, 22, Kirk Werner, Mark Kirkby, Kirk, Mark and Mark shared with Scott Rhodes, Golden Knights from long ago. They were some Craig and Kirk and Mark you mentioned. They were all there celebrating the 40 years.
yeah,
And that's probably very special to know that they are really also the most successful competitors in history. and Niklas Hemlin is in the 11th place with 3 gold medals only. What what's wrong with this? Are you?
Uh,
Oh,
uh,
okay.
yeah, I don't know. How many do you have?
Yeah, yeah, good question.
No, in the
I
end of the
never.
day, it's all these individuals have been, as you can see here, at 1989 for Craig Girard or 1994 for Mark Kirkby. I mean, that's 30 years or maybe 35 years of continuous service to the sport. I mean, these are true athletes, true competitors, and the true artists in their craft. And this legends of the sport, royalty of the sport. And I'm honored to have been on the team with them. Mark in 2012, Kirk Burner in 2020, winning an 8-way world meet with him, and just being a captain of Arizona Airspeed, which puts me in the same camp as Craig Girard and Mark Kirkby also. And I mean, it's an honor. And yeah, I can't say anything more than that. There was also mentioned to me that Mark has the longest tenure on the team, 17 years. Craig Girard has the second longest, which is 16, and I have the third longest, which is 14 years. And I mean, in the end of the day, the connection between my tenure on the team from 2011 and 12, and then we went through 3 silver medals in the world championships, behind Hayabusa, and then we're now back at the top. Just being able to be part of that, joining Airspeed at the height, and having such a good team with Mark, Thomas, and Josh Hall was amazing. That team was superb in just 2 years that we were together. And then being part of Airspeed, finding their way, and then kind of now at the end, this team has been together for 5 years. This is the 5th year and final year for Mikael and I. It's just a privilege to have done my part for such an amazing project, and just to call all these people on that list that you shared, or people that are not on that list, teammates and brothers, is very, very special.
Yeah, I mean, and that is, I mean, everybody will agree with that. Of course, you are, I was just teasing you, but of course, it's obvious that you are well underrepresented there. Somehow there's no doubt that you are on the top of the list, and hopefully you will be able to make history still before you retire. You and Mikael. I mean, Mikael, he has he is like you, on that top. You've been doing it for so long together, and he is just only one gold medal, right? I mean, there will be a second one this year, but this medal count doesn't really tell the whole truth. Obviously, there's
Yeah, no,
obvious.
but number one, I mean, we'll see who wins the world meet after round 10 is finished. We are in a good position, but as you can tell with the French team, Tom being hurt, nothing is ever a guarantee. So I want to respect the process for the French, for the Qataris, for Hayabusa, for everyone, that we're not walking into that world meet. We're earning it in training, and you never know what's going to happen. We control what we can, and we adapt for the rest. And secondly, I'm sometimes more proud of the silver medals than the golds as my tenure, because that silver medal we have from Australia in 2018, I mean, I'm very proud of that, because if you looked at that lineup, we performed at 110 or maybe 115% of our previous capacity. So, I mean, we overperformed against everyone's expectations. And it goes back to us just skydiving and doing our thing. And this lineup that we have now, whatever we've learned through those 3 years with that lineup, is what this lineup is standing on. So everything on Airspeed is connected when you have like a continuous line of captaincies or members. And that's something that, if I look at it, is more 2017 through 2024. I know we had 2 people change, but Mikael and I, have been a part of it continuously during that period. And changing the trajectory of a project, learning and adjusting the recipe to find what works for us and make us competitive is just more rewarding almost than winning itself, you know, because winning is the output of the work and the focus and the dedication you put in. So it's it reinforces that you're doing the right thing, but just being part of it, being able to, you know.
And then there are all the meets where where you not won, where you didn't win, and then the second place was just 1 point. I mean, there's so many of those where the second place team could have easily won, or the first place team, the winner, could have been in second place. So this on top of that. So those kind of second places are very honorable, as you say.
Yeah, I mean, that's if you look at someone who went to the World Meet in 2012, 2014, 2016, 2018, you know, 2020, 2022, 2024. I mean, you're looking at a 14-year tenure, and either you're first or second. And, you know.
Again, in a nutshell, Nick, you mentioned earlier, and you have you're totally right with that. Now that you have 3, and then you were asking me how many have you. What is it in a nutshell that gets you one and the other one not? Is it just simply only dedication, or what do you think? Can you put this in 1 minute? What do you think it takes?
I think honesty with yourself and dedication, those two things. A lot of people want to do it, but they don't want to do the work, or they'll have something inside of them that's holding them from giving 100%. Some people claim they gave 100%, but there's something in them that there was only 99. And sometimes you got to stick with it, because timing is everything also. And, you know, Hayabusa early on had hard times, but their tenure of 8 years of being on top of the world came in the beginning. We had to learn all those hard lessons, new members, heartbreak at the 2012 World Championship, you know, all that stuff before is what built the character and the resolve and the dedication to win. And then when they won, they were on top of the world for 8 years, you know. So I feel like there's no secret to success, and you have to face yourself many, many times to really find out who you are and the small areas in your life where you're really holding back to give 100%. That's it.
There you heard it, folks. Now you know how to become a world champion, what it takes to get there. Niklas just told you. Nick, thank you very much. I have to cut it now because there's we only have now seconds left. We want to be able to say goodbye and thank you. Thank you very much. Good luck. And next will be probably at the Summer Classic or after the Summer Classic or something like that, which is coming up soon.
Thanks you guys.
A lot. Goodbye.